I got with me one of my boys, one of my dogs, someone I
Man,
grew up
what's
with,
up?
D'Angelo Durham. What's up? What's going on, bro?
Just working, man. Trying to get ready for
What
the
you been up
season.
to, dog? Yeah. So anybody who's listening to this who doesn't know Deelo, go ahead and
Man, I'm
introduce yourself,
D'Angelo
bro. What you
Durham.
do,
I'm
where you
from
came
Augusta,
from, all the
Georgia.
above.
I attended Grovetown High School, and I'm currently playing at McNeese State University in Louisiana.
Heck yeah. I'm an LSU fan too. That's crazy. That's crazy.
We
LSU.
got Texas
Who y'all
A&M
playing this
week
year?
two.
Big teams.
Yeah, at College Station.
Y'all playing it at College Station?
No, that's the only one.
Jesus Christ. Any other SEC schools on there? The only one. So tell people. So tell them about your background. What made
Man,
D'Lo want to become a
honestly,
football player, and
funny
why are you
story.
still
I
going after
didn't
it
like
now?
playing football at first. I wanted to play basketball, but I let a coach talk me into it. Wanted
Yeah.
a better opportunity to get a scholarship to go play college football or go to college, and then I just took off from there.
Tell us about the upbringing of D'Lo. So whenever you first
Man,
got
I
on the
started first
field,
playing
when did
football
you
when I
first
was
start playing
like
football? I guess is the
maybe
best question.
11, and then I did not like playing football. I didn't like getting
Yeah.
hit.
You said
I
you
didn't
hated
like
it.
being out in the sun. I didn't like any of it.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, it started to
So
get
what
fun,
made
and then
D'Lo
the
keep going?
connections I started to make with my teammates and the coaches, and then that's really what kept me going. And then sooner or later, I started to actually enjoy it. And then I figured I was actually pretty good at it, and then it just took off from there.
When did
In
you
eighth grade,
start realizing, hey, I'm pretty good at this and I'm
yeah.
balling right now? Eighth grade. So that
Now we
year,
went undefeated.
remind me, did
I
y'all
think we
go
might be the
undefeated
only
that year? Or y'all
Grovetown
lost
middle
one
school
game that
team
year.
to go undefeated. Yeah,
Undefeated. Really? That's dope. So one of y'all's helmets, I know Iman's is in there from the previous
yeah.
year. I think it may be your helmet still at Grovetown right now. So high school. Tell people about high school, your decision making process there. I know you played basketball in
Yeah, I played
middle
basketball
school.
for about
High
until
school,
my
did you
junior year,
continue playing
and
basketball?
then that's when I really started to focus on football.
And when did the,
I
I
got my
guess,
first
the
offer after our spring game
offers
my
start
junior
coming in?
year by University of Texas at San Antonio. And then after that, it kind of just blew up from there a little bit. I got my second offer from Old Dominion,
Okay.
and then I was getting looks from smaller schools, but I was already committed for a long time. University of Texas at San Antonio.
Yeah. And
I
you
actually
did you end up
decommitted in
going to
December,
Texas San
and
Antonio or
then
you went somewhere
I
else?
committed to Savannah State the day before signing day.
Yeah,
I had
I
waited too
got you.
long, and then all
What
my
made
other
you
offers
choose
filled
Savannah
up. So
State?
that was really my only offer that was still on the table.
Yeah. So coming from high school into college, what's the
Uh,
main
the
difference
speed of the game
in the two
coming from
that
high
you
school to go
felt?
to college, man, it's a lot faster.
Yeah. So in high school, in middle school, what were some of the people you looked up to and kind of were like, okay, I need to be like this, or this person looks like me when they're running? Like,
Uh,
who were some of the
well, in
players
high
you
school,
looked
I
up
kind
to
of looked up
whenever
to
you was doing
Logan
all that?
Garnett. He played at Aquinas, and then that's really it. I watched him play. I
Yeah.
watched how explosive he was, and I was like, man, I want to be just like that guy.
Yeah. Did you ever have a moment where you're like, I need to look over my shoulder, like this dude behind me, he's balling too, so I need to step my game up. I had Iman on the other day, and he talked about Benji, and he talked about you, he talked about some other player. He talked about, I don't remember his name. He went to Grovetown too, and I was losing it, but he talked about some players that were on his neck, like I need to step my game up. Did you have any players like that, whether it's
Oh
now
yeah,
or in high school, that you were
Artest
like, yeah, I
Banks,
need to step
Lorenzo
my game up? They're
Holmes,
balling
Justin
right now.
Gibbs, even AJ Brown. Man, just playing with them made me realize, man. Even Shamar Cofield, playing with them just made me realize, man, I got to step my game up a little bit every day.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Now, coming from high school to college, is it more fast paced? Like when it comes to like practicing, working out, do you
It's
feel like
about the
it's
same as
is it a
far
lot
as working
harder or
out
is it about
wise,
the same?
but when you get into the 11 on 11, that's when the speed starts to pick up.
Yeah, yeah. And do you feel like now in college, is it more like in high school, middle school, you could get away with having a couple athletes and you run them around and that's a touchdown every time. Do you feel like the
Oh yeah, the
competitive
competitive
nature
nature is
is
through the roof,
kind
man.
of
You got to
even
bring your
getting
A
into
game
there?
every day.
Yeah. What about the coaching? Do you feel like the coaching plays the biggest factor there and how they set up and the sets they do, or do you feel like it's still kind of
I think
one
coaching plays
player
a
can
big
kind of
role.
handle the
You got
offense,
to be
defense
able to
type of
be in
thing?
the right position to make the right plays. If your coach can't put you in the right position, you can't make the good plays.
Yeah. And then, so what's been the biggest
Me
struggle for
is
you now that you're in
That's a good
college?
question. I would probably say being more of a leader.
What's Deelo
I'm
struggling
not
with
really
right
that
now?
vocal, but trying to get out my comfort zone and be more
Yeah.
vocal and vocally push my teammates to be better every day.
So what I heard is coming out of high school into college, you have a lot of athletes who are alpha males on their team. They balled out in high school. Do you ever butt heads with any of those guys? Do you feel like one person has to be the leader? Is there alpha who comes
Oh
out
yeah,
on
I
top?
butt heads with my
Usually,
teammates all the time,
is it
but
kind
it's
of like
not
a group thing?
nothing personal. It's just that, man, I want to get better. You want to get better. We're both in a competitive environment, so
Yeah.
sometimes emotions get flared. But we teammates at the end of the day, and we just want to push each other to get better.
So are
This is my
you
senior
currently
season.
going into your senior season? Is that correct? Senior season. Do you have any like accolades you want to
Oh yeah, I
hit?
want
Do
to
you have any
rush for a
goals you
thousand
want to
yards
hit this
plus,
year?
have over 800 plus receiving yards, and make All American team in
Yeah.
first All Conference.
Yeah. Do you have plans on going to the
Oh yeah,
league? Like,
most
is that the
definitely
main goal?
have a
Like,
goal of going to
what
the
does
league after
D'Lo want
this
to
year.
do? Yeah. So I had what's his name? Kendall Milton came into my dealership yesterday, and he's actually playing in Philly. He didn't get drafted at all. He's an unsigned, undrafted free agent, and the Philly signed him. Do you feel like if you put on a show this year, you could be one of the draftees in
Oh
the
yeah, most
draft coming
definitely. I
up in
feel like if I
25?
do everything that I need to do and put up the numbers that I need to put up, there's no doubt I'll be able to get picked up by some team in the NFL or in the CFL.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what is keeping you motivated to continue this process? Because I've seen a lot of players who came from Grovetown or Columbia County. They go to college, they do 2, 3 years, and they find out it's just not for them. They don't want to keep doing 2 a days. They don't want to give up 5 o'clock,
Just my
4 o'clock in the
personal
morning
will
no
and
more.
my
What's
family.
keeping you motivated
Whenever I
right
do feel like giving up or quitting, I talk to my family about it. Then they just
now? Yeah,
told me they just keep showing up. So even every day I feel like quitting, I'll be like, man, I'm gonna quit tomorrow, and then I show up again, and then I keep pushing it off and keep pushing it off.
yeah. So your family keeps pushing you throughout. Has there been times where you've been on the edge, like, hey, like this ain't it no more. Like it's almost time to put
Oh
my
yeah, it has actually.
cleats up. Like, has there
It
been a
came
time like
that
that
time
for
came
you?
around February, but then I talked to my family, I talked to my loved ones, and they
Hmm.
just said, man, talk to me tomorrow about it, and I just kept showing up. Showing up is the hardest part, but once you show up, man, it's time to put the work in.
Yeah. So what caused that? What made you just like
Really,
question
just my
whether you
body.
still had
Some
love
days my
for it or you
body will
still
hurt
wanted to
more
keep
than
playing?
others, but pain is temporary. So then I just made sure I took care of my body even more.
Yeah. And what is that? So what exactly do you do to? Because I'm sure high school is way different from your staff where you at in McNeese. What are you doing to take care of
Yeah,
your
I have.
body going through all these? You've had a couple injuries, right? Yeah. And so, what have you done from a standpoint of staying healthy and whatnot? What have you
I
done to
live in the
continue
training room. The
pushing your
training
body
room and the weight room, that's like my
to stay
second
healthy?
home. I go into training, I get treatment on any nicks and bruises, anything that's sore, tight, or I'll go to the weight room and just put a little bit extra work in on things I need to get better at.
Yeah. And so I've asked this question on a couple of athletes I've had on. How do you feel
Man, I
about the
like
whole
it
NIL
because
deal
it's
situation? What is your biggest thoughts on that? Because this is cool getting it from a player who's actually there. Like I've had Iman on, I had a couple other athletes on who no longer play. But what does it feel like for someone
man, I
who's
like
actually
it
there,
because it
like
gives you an opportunity to
in the
get
thick of
paid
it?
for what you're doing and just put a little extra money in your pockets. But at the same time, it also is kind of messing up teams because a lot of players
Yeah.
feel like, man, if I'm not gonna get paid here, I'm into the portal and I'm gonna get paid somewhere else, and that's not always the case.
So do you feel like there's more of a problem than it has fixed everything? Do they need regulations on it? Like, what is whenever you're in the locker room, whenever this first started, what was the main consensus? Were people more happy about it, or you feel like, okay, well, we know
Yeah,
we won't
kind
have
of
these loyal players
both
anymore because
parts.
they're just looking
A
for
lot of
money
people are
now.
happy for it, but then a lot of people like, man, I should be getting paid. Well, I'm not getting paid. Well, I'm gonna leave so I can go somewhere to get paid. Or some people may feel like, man, I need to get paid more. But
Yeah,
that's not always the case.
I got you. So you were in Savannah State. Now you're in McNeese. What was that transition like
Man,
whenever you
at
transferred,
first it was
and why
stressful.
did you make that
I sat in the
decision?
portal, the transfer portal, for like 7 months, and schools talking to me, schools, thinking about offering me, but not
Yeah,
offering me. But McNeese came around and they gave me an opportunity, and I just took off with it.
yeah.
The staff, I
What
was
made you
familiar with the
choose
staff.
McNeese over
They came from
others?
Valdosta State, and we actually played Valdosta State that following fall season, and I seen what they could do with their coaching, so I took a chance on it.
See, what I always thought you would end up going to like Georgia Southern or maybe a Georgia Tech, possibly, just based on their offense. Did you ever
No,
get an
I
offer
didn't. A
from
lot of
Georgia
schools were
Tech
telling
or
me
Georgia
because
Southern, anything like
first I had
that?
1 year left coming out of Savannah State, so a lot of schools are telling me they don't take 1 year guys. And then
Yeah.
I guess somewhere in the paperwork I got it mixed up. Well, actually, I had 2 years left, but by the time I figured that out, I was already at McNeese. Yeah, because of COVID.
Yeah. Was that because of COVID? They gave you another year? Yeah. So what's your biggest thing coming up? What is that biggest hurdle before you get into the season? What is Deelo looking for in
Man, just to
himself
stay healthy
to get
and
better
to get
that way
bigger
you're
and get
season
stronger,
ready?
get faster, and just to continue to try to be a more vocal leader for my team and my teammates, and to kind of set the example.
So
Right now
what are you
I'm
sitting at
six
right now?
one, 210,
Weight and height wise?
4'5", low
210.
4'5".
And then you're 40?
Mm,
4 or 5. Broad jump?
yeah, no,
Y'all,
we
y'all do
really
that
don't do
often over
broad
there?
jump
I
that
feel like
often.
that's like, yeah. See, I don't understand. Whenever like the draft comes up, I still don't understand. I guess for lateral movement, but I
Yeah, that's
don't
just
feel like that's too
more
big
so
of
for
like
numbers.
a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, athletic standpoint. So Texas A&M, y'all get in there. What's Delo's main focus? What is like the whole team situation when y'all going into a big school like Texas A&M, especially playing at College Station? What is like y'all's mindset going in? Because obviously the A&M's a big
We have
SEC
nothing to
school.
lose, so why
What is
not
y'all's
go in there and play
mindset going
hard
into this game?
and make an upset?
Yeah, that's what I always
Uh,
wondered about these schools.
D1
Is
double A.
is McNeese a D2, lower D1, D1 double A? I always wondered what the mindset was because y'all coming in SEC school,
Oh
College
yeah, for
Station. You
sure.
know, people gonna be camping out for however long.
Yeah, I did.
And you played at Florida. You played at Florida last year, right? So that's a big stadium to be at. Whenever you get in there, are the butterflies
Oh
insane.
yeah, they're
Like,
through the
does that
roof.
be
But
through the
once you
roof
get
when
on
you
the
get into
field
that
and
type of
the ball's
atmosphere?
about to be snapped, it's game time. The butterflies automatically just go away.
Yeah. And going up against teams like that, what's the biggest difference with their success versus a McNeese who's a lower D1? And I'm not hating on McNeese. Everybody got to get their bread. But what is the biggest difference you think?
I would
Is it
say
size,
coaching does play a
speed,
little part,
coaching? What do you
but
think
more
that
so
is?
is size. When you're in the perimeter with the skill
Yeah.
players, the matchup is pretty even. They might be a little bit bigger than you, but for the most part, it's pretty even. The biggest mismatch is in the trenches with the O line and the D
Hmm.
line. Yeah.
Yeah. So up front, really, that's crazy. That's crazy. So tell the people you're just like I told Iman, you're a Columbia County legend. You are. Like everybody knew Deelo whenever he's coming up. Everybody wanted to see Deelo play. Tell some stories about foot,
Man, my
high school
favorite
football,
memory
middle
from high
school
school
football. What were
football
your
was
favorite
my
memories from
senior
that?
year. We were in the first round of the playoffs, first team at McNeese to have a home playoff game, and also I mean not McNeese but Grovetown, and then first team at Grovetown to win a playoff game, go to the second,
Hmm.
and just that atmosphere after we beat Lovejoy, man,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember. I dressed out for that game with y'all. So, and I had Coach Snanger on the other day. He talked about you. He talked about Iman,
Yeah.
and he talked about the different because he's coached a lot of athletes. He's coached a ton of athletes, which is crazy. What was your favorite moment from that squad? Because I know y'all had a crazy roster. You, Taylor, I believe you had was
No,
what's his
that
name?
was a year
Tell
after.
and Trail still on that team too. Was that a year after? Oh,
When
gotcha.
we played
What
Columbia,
was your
man, it
favorite
was a good
memory from
game.
that
I
middle
think
school
we won
team?
by what, maybe 7 points, and then I had scored the game winning touchdown at the last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was insane.
And what's the biggest like whenever you're in foot? What was the biggest like atmosphere you've been in? And I'm talking about like a close game, like a big stadium. What was the biggest
Outside of
atmosphere you've been
Florida,
in?
when I was at Savannah State in 2019, we had a homecoming game against Albany State. Man, the
Hmm.
stands were packed. It was standing room only.
I got you. And then, so what would for some people just like you who are student athletes right now in college, what would be your biggest takeaway from
Yeah.
your first, I guess,
Well,
three
this is
years
actually my
or
seventh.
4 years? Is that right? This would be
Yeah.
your fifth. What would be seventh? What would be your biggest takeaway, and what type of advice would you give those who are still in football right now and maybe going through some of the same struggles? Like, hey, like I'm doubting myself. Like I
Just
don't know if
show
I
up
can
and be
do this
consistent.
anymore. What's your biggest
Come to
takeaway
work
and
every
advice for
day,
them?
and regardless of how you're feeling, put your shoes on and just work. Put your head down and work.
Yeah. Now, looking back right now, based on where you're at right now, what would you be your biggest like regret, or I wouldn't want to say regret, something you would
Uh,
change from the past based on what
I
you're doing
probably
now?
would have entered the transfer portal in 2019 season. Just because I had a really good season. I was the
Why is
first
that?
1,000-yard rusher since the 1990s, and then I had all the heat behind me.
And do you
I feel like I would
how
have
how
been
do
at
you think that would have
FBS
changed your
school,
career thus far?
if not a group of five, a power five for sure.
Yeah. And what you're like going through now, looking back on what you've done, you want to be 1,000 yard rusher this year. Plus, you want to have 800, plus receiving yards, 10 plus touchdowns. What else does Deelo want to do aside from football to make him continue going,
I
keep you
want to finish my
motivated and
degree.
stuff like that?
I
What's
just
your
recently
biggest goal
graduated
outside
with
of
my
football?
master's degree in health and human performance, and I'm currently taking on criminal justice master program.
Yeah. And so I talk a lot about mental health on this podcast. Um, what type of struggles have you faced with that? Not only in football, whether it be school or any type of other stuff. What type of mental health issues have you dealt with since getting out of high school, becoming
Well,
a
as an
man,
athlete,
responsibilities, stuff like that?
a lot of emotions are based off performance. So when you're not performing as well, or you're not getting the shine that you think you deserve, and stuff like that, you get down on yourself. You might become a little
Yeah.
depressed. But I say just keep your head up and talk about it. Don't be afraid to express how you feel. and to find somebody you're comfortable with and just
Yeah.
express all your emotions.
So who have you? Has it been friends? Has it been family? Have you been to, like a therapist to talk about it, or what? How do you take that
At first, I
anxiety,
was
take
talking to
that
coaches and I was
depression
talking
out
to
of yourself?
family, but then I decided in what 2021, I actually gave my life to Christ and I got baptized. And now I pray about it, I talk to God about it, and then I leave it in His hands.
So elaborate on that. What made you make that decision to get baptized,
I
give
just felt
your
like I was
life to
missing
Christ?
something.
What
Like
all
I
influenced
felt
that
like I was
decision?
missing a piece of my life. Um, and then I always believed in God, I always believed in Christ, but I just felt like I had to make that next step.
Yeah.
Man, it's been,
And
I
how's
wouldn't
your
say a
life
breeze, but
changed
it's
since
been a
you've
lot
done that?
easier, when I'm going through stuff, feeling depressed or feeling down, I just pray about it, talk to God about it, and I give it down.
Yeah. And in a way, so me and Iman were talking about this on one of the podcasts. In a way, is football therapy for you? I know you go through your, hey, I suck today. Hey, I'm good today. Has football been a way for you to be like,
Yeah, it is
get some of
actually.
that anger,
When I'm on the
get some of
field,
that
nothing else
frustration out?
matters. I control my own destiny on the field, and it's my safe haven.
Yeah. So what's keeping you going, Deelo? What's keeping you going right now? I know you said your family, but us as men who get on that field, I played, you played, my brother
Man, I
played. I
just
know a
feel,
lot of different players. What's keeping you going right now? Is it a goal? Is it
yeah, it is
accomplishment?
hard.
What is
It is
like?
hard,
What's
man.
keeping D'Lo going? Because it's hard, bro. I know it's hard. It's hard. I've talked to a lot of different people. I've had a couple people from Georgia, come by cars from me, Carson back, and then obviously, what's his name? I just forgot his name, but he bought a car. He's going to buy a car from me, and they talk about the struggles with it, but they always see humble with it. They always seem humble for some reason. What's keeping you going to stay and be like, D'Lo needs this,
Man, the
I need
younger
this,
me,
I need this
I
for my
always
family?
remember
What's
my
keeping you
dreams and
going?
aspirations when I was just a kid of playing in the league and
Yeah.
playing on that big stage. And every time I feel like quitting or I want to quit, I just think about the younger me, and I can't let him down. Yeah,
Do you ever
all the
watch
time.
old clips of yourself? Like whether it be
Yeah,
high
just
school, middle
reminiscing.
school? Yeah. So yeah, whenever you're watching those, are you critiquing yourself, or is that just some way for you to be like, okay, I can see myself.
Yeah,
I'm
a
I'm
little bit of
happy
both.
with
I
still.
critique
I still
myself a little
enjoy
bit
this.
of things I could have did better at, but at the same time, just it brings back the joy.
Yeah. And if you were looking at your high school self, be like, what would
Man,
you,
you
if you
came a
had to
long
write a
way.
letter, what would you tell
Don't
D'Lo
give up.
right
Keep
now?
pushing.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I see you, I see Simeon, I see Derek Cantine, I see AJ, I saw Iman while he played. It's crazy to see all of y'all ball out the way y'all are. And then
Deontay
what's his
Smith.
name who plays for the Bengals now? Shit, Deontay. Seeing Deontay play for the Bengals and whatnot, it's awesome to see y'all do that. And I don't think
Yeah,
people understand
it's
how
very
hard
challenging.
football actually is. No, I don't think. I think when everybody's drinking their beer, watching football, they're like, "Oh, you didn't make this play." I'm like, "It's not. It's not that easy. This is like middle school, high school may have been checkers, but this is chess now. It's a
Yeah,
lot. Everybody's on the same level athlete. You know what I mean? For the most part, you'll have your standouts and whatnot. But seeing y'all do what y'all do, not everybody appreciates that. I understand. You probably already know that. You probably get fans on the way out whenever you're going out. They cussing at y'all if y'all lose, and then obviously they praising y'all if y'all win, but they don't know why you won or what technique took that. So I want you to know everybody who knows football appreciates what y'all do because it's not easy at all. Especially not like watching. So when people watch it, they're only seeing the highlights. They're not seeing you getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going to your workout, hopping on the field, getting the workout again, eating. So how is that weight on you from all the workouts, all the eating, all
oh
the
yeah, well,
film
I
room?
love it.
How is that weight on you as a
Of course, I
person?
love to eat. Who doesn't love food? But like, I love being in the film. I love watching film, and I
Yeah.
like working out and just perfecting my craft.
Yeah. And then, so watching film, a lot of people don't understand that either. What are you looking for? Obviously, you're looking at you, but you're not only looking at you. You're looking at how the offensive line is doing. You're looking at those linebackers. Take
So
me
when I'm
through
watching
what
film, the
your
first thing I
process
look
is
at is
whenever you're
how
watching
the
film.
defensive line gets off the ball. If they're aggressive, if they're passive, if they're just trying to bull rush, if they're trying to give a move. And then once I go from the D line, go to the linebackers. Look how well they trigger, their tendencies, if they're flat footed, how well they flow, if they're trying to guess which hole you're going to. And then from there, I go to the safeties. I try to be able to see what coverage they're in and try to see their tendencies as well, and the things they're good at, and also the things they're bad at.
So you're lining up, right? What do
We're
y'all
air raid
run
offense.
at McNeese? What's y'all's offensive scheme? Air raid. So whenever you're lining up, you're in the
We always go out
backfield.
of
Do y'all
shotgun.
mostly go out of shotgun, or y'all under center a lot? Shotgun. Whenever you're lining up, you're looking at what are you looking at on the field? For people
I'm
that
looking
don't
at the
know,
D
what are
line
you
from the
looking
D
at
line
whenever you
to the
first
line.
line up each play?
Their
And
flow of the
what exactly are
linebackers.
you
If they're
looking
flowing
for
hard,
from that
I cut
standpoint?
back. If they're not flowing hard, and I can beat them to the edge. Or if they're trying to guess which gap, I know where I'm going. They don't know where I'm going. So that's also an advantage for my part.
All right, so Deelo, you have the ball down to the hut, hand you off the ball. Let's say it's just a 32 dive. Everybody knows what
I'm
32
looking for.
dive
I'm gonna
is.
surf the
That
hole,
hole closes.
surf the
What is
line of
Deelo
scrimmage, and
doing?
I'm looking for the next open hole. If there is no open hole, I'm just gonna put my head down and get what I can get.
Yeah. So whenever I'm watching, I see running backs like Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon was very patient whenever he hit the line. He was not one to bull rush it. He'd wait back, wait for a hole open, cut it through. And then you have people like Zeke. You have people like I want to say Mark Ingram. They go straight through. No matter if that hole's open or not, they're gonna get the 2-3 yards they need to get. What does D'Lo do whenever he sees a hole close or a hole open on
I'm
the
a
other
patient
side?
runner, so
What is your
if
process
the
on that?
hole is not there, I'm gonna be patient, try to let my old line create another hole, and then if it is there, I'm gonna hit it as I see it.
And for the people not who watch football but haven't played it, don't completely understand it. How
Man, it's
hard
challenging
is
because
football from
you
a
got to
running back
depend on your
standpoint?
teammates to make plays, so you'll be able to make a play.
So let's say y'all are passing the ball, right? And obviously you're staying back for pass protection. And you see this dude, he's 6'5", he may be about 280, almost 300 pounds.
Oh
Are
yeah,
you
I'm gonna take
taking
his
his
knees
knees
out
out?
every
Are we
time.
going straight up with this dude? What are we doing? You take his knees out. I was looking for that answer. I was looking for the answer. 'Cause I'm sure, especially playing against somebody like Florida, Texas A&M, bro. You pass
Oh
protecting.
yeah,
You see this guy coming. You got to
most
take his
definitely.
knees out, bro. You're gonna get hurt messing around with this dude. What's the so now that we're talking about all that, what's the biggest hit you've taken where you looked on the film and was
We
like, damn,
played
he got my
Southeastern
ass bad.
University, and I thought I was gone, but the linebacker he disappeared, and then he came off. Oh, 1 second. He disappeared, and then he peeled off, and then he just lit me up. Like when he hit me, my whole body was parallel to the ground.
And watching,
Yeah,
so
and
you were
I had
sitting
bruised
like
my
this.
tailbone.
Jesus Christ. What's the biggest hit you've seen? Because I seen Taylor get slung around like a rag doll at Burke County. I saw the safety. I think we were playing in the playoffs. I don't know who we were playing against. And he was just sitting there, got ran over by the running back. What's the biggest hit you've seen
Man,
playing
biggest
football? Middle
hit we
school, high
played.
school, college.
What I think it was my junior year maybe. We played Northside Warren Robins, and I seen a blind side block. Then he just like, no, this was
And
on our team.
this was on the opposing
Yeah,
team.
he just depleted this kid, and I was like,
Oh, okay.
wow. No, I'm not gonna say who it
Are you allowed
was.
to say who it was? Okay. I mean, I've seen some hits in practice. I remember going up on scout team with y'all, and I'm telling you right now, you, Shamar, and all the other cats did not take it easy. And I remember one point they were putting you at safety or something, and I was like, "This is not fair. This is not fair at all." And I don't remember who it was, but he had it down the middle, and you simply just you put him to sleep, bro. Like I've never seen you just leveled him. Like, but you didn't lower your shoulder, nothing like that. You kind of stuck your arm out. We were like a. I was like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing? How's this helping the team, bro? But I remember that happening. I remember and I'll tell you, I remember when Donnie and Miles played together. We talked about it on the podcast together. I remember Miles picking up Donnie
Yeah,
over
I
his head
remember that
and
too. That was
slamming him
crazy.
on his back, and I was like, "What the?" Just playing on scout team, being like a freshman, sophomore, and seeing this, would be like, "I'm throwing the ball every time. I'm not running it, coach. It's not happening. It's just not going to happen." So, where are you finding joy right now, brother? Is it the team? Is it just a love for the
A mixture
game?
of
Is
all
it your
three.
passion
I
in
love being
Christ?
around
What
my
is it right now?
teammates. When we're not putting in work, we're cutting up in the locker room,
Yeah,
having a good time. And then also the passion. I love the game of football.
yeah. And you talked about how that faded. Where did because originally you said you hated it. Where
Actually,
did you
through
find the
rehab,
love for it?
the love kind of started to fade as I going through my injuries, but
Okay,
then doing rehab and trusting my trainers and talking with my trainers, the love started to come back as I started to get better and healthier. But
yeah.
I'm
How are you
100%. I'm
feeling right
feeling
now?
good.
Are you 80%, ninety
Oh yeah,
percent,
most definitely.
100% right now? You ready to
Yeah, we
go?
had our spring game.
You already had your spring game already?
We're looking really
Yeah.
good.
How are
Looking
y'all
really
looking
good
on
this
from
year.
that standpoint?
The rankings haven't
Where are
came
y'all
out yet. They
projected
come
this year?
out towards the end of July.
Yeah. Okay. How many games y'all think y'all will win? Obviously, you want to win all of them, but you have some tough games coming.
Honestly,
Obviously,
besides the
how many games do you think y'all
Texas
win?
A&M game, that's in the air, but I feel like we can win every one of them.
Yeah. What's your biggest thing looking forward to this season? Obviously, going to College Station, which is awesome. I wish I could fly out and see that one. That's gonna be a huge atmosphere,
Yeah.
bro. I've seen some of the tailgates. Those fans are insane.
Just the comeback season.
What are you looking
Last
forward to
year
this
we didn't
season,
really
bro?
do that well as a team. So this year, we're kind of the underdog, so people aren't giving us any chance. So we just ready to shock the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to hear that, brother. I love that you're doing well. I'm glad you're back at 100%. I know it's probably hard getting back to 100%. I can only imagine what that felt like. Um, and I'm
Oh
looking
yeah, most
forward,
definitely.
dog. Any ESPN, I'm watching for
I'm
sure.
RB2 or three
You
right
RB
now, but
one,
that's
right?
because of
We RB
injuries.
one now.
But we're for sure gonna get back, most definitely.
Okay, I
Yeah,
got you.
for sure, for sure.
You said you're gonna get that back, right? You gonna get that lick back. Okay, cool. Awesome, bro. Listen, I appreciate you coming on. I really do love watching people like you, Iman, AJ, Derek, Simeon, go and do y'all's things. That's what y'all are destined to do. And it's just cool to be able to see y'all do that. What are some positive vibes you can give the people, positive vibes you can give to other athletes who are maybe, not cool with the situation they're in or they're questioning themselves? I
Yeah,
mean,
just
what kind
keep
of
working.
positive
Never
energy could
question
you
your
put
craft.
out to the
Never
world for
question
them?
your game. Never question who you are. Just continue to perfect your craft.
And what going up this year?
I'm pretty sure
How
all
do
of them
y'all
are on
have
TV.
what games do y'all have on TV this year?
Yeah,
All of them. Perfect. Awesome. Dope.
I'm
So
number one.
anybody watching Deelo McNeese, what number are you now? Number one. Hey, you kept it. That's dope. Hell yeah. Deelo, this is my boy. This is my dog. Like I said, we grew up together. He came over to the house just to birthday parties, whatever shenanigans. I watched the dude go from middle school
Yeah,
ball
I
out,
went to
high school
Aquinas my
ball
sophomore
out. At
year.
one point, you were at Aquinas, right? Went to Aquinas, came back to Grovetown, went off to
I
Savannah
appreciate it,
State.
man.
Now he's in McNeese. Bro, I could be more proud of you, dog. Absolutely. Tell the people what they
Man,
looking
breakout
forward to.
year
What should
coming
we
this
be
year.
looking forward to
Just
this
stay
year with
tuned
D'Angelo
and
Durham?
keep your eyes open.
Breakout year. You heard it from the man himself. Breakout year this year. I'm looking forward to it, dog. I really am. What's the closest game y'all have
I think
this
the
year
closest game it will
in
be.
Georgia at all?
Um,
Well, to
I think it's
Augusta.
near New Orleans, maybe like an hour outside of New Orleans.
I got you. I got you. Well, I'm looking forward to it, bro. I wish you the
Oh yeah,
absolute
man, I love to
best.
hear
I know you said 1,000. Let's get to 1,500,
it.
bro. Let's get to 1,500. Let's get to 1,500. A
Yeah.
1,000 yards receiving. Go ahead and get 20 touchdowns. Let's get it, bro. Why are we holding back for? But I do appreciate you coming on, dog. I wish you the absolute
No, man, I
best. Do you have
appreciate you
anything
for
else to
having me.
say to the people, bro?
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Take it easy. I'm wishing the best for you, dog.